Right, so this evening I have Nick Brown with me from Arlesey Town. Nick, how are we doing?
Yeah, very good, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. So just a quick one on the first question we'll go is yesterday, 0-0 with Leverstock Green. How do you think the boys did, and sort of what conditions were you guys put under?
Yeah, it was an interesting game. In the first half, I don't think we were really at the races compared to the last one and a half games because obviously we were abandoned midweek at half time and had a good first half performance against a very good side. So yeah, I don't think we were at the races yesterday, but I do think that the pitch contributed to that because there's a massive slope on that pitch and it only told in the second half where our kind of dominance and more chances compared to the first half and compared to their lesser chances in the second half. So it just shows that the pitch did make a difference in terms of the slope. It does pin you in there. But also they're an experienced side and they're sitting sixth in the league. So when you're not really at the races as much as I would have liked us to be, it was a good point for us. But if we'd have played like we did in the last couple of games, we probably could have got all three. But look, at the end of the day, in the position that we're in, every point is vital. And if we can't get the win, let's make sure we don't lose the game.
No, definitely. And as I say, it's a long slog now. We're going into a 5 day period where we have three games. First is going to be Bedford in the Bed Senior Cup. Um, what are we sort of thinking about that? Obviously, the such a crammed fixture list this week. It would have been four in seven. What are we thinking? Are lads going to be fit enough? Have we got enough players?
Yeah, I mean the good thing is that we don't really have many injuries at the moment. A lot of players have come back now from injury. The bad thing is obviously 3 games in 5 days. We're playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday every other day. So there's going to be rotation. But the good thing is at the moment with players coming in and with that rotation, everyone is adding to the squad and adding their own part to the squad. So we'll be able to cope with it. We've got plenty of players to be able to cope with it, especially with everyone being fit. But there's obviously going to be rotation, and we have to bear in mind that our main focus is obviously the league. And whilst cup runs would be nice, and everyone wants one, our focus is the league, and obviously getting out of the position we're in. So it's a nice tie on Tuesday. Obviously playing a step-free side, Bedford. They've just changed their manager, so they're obviously trying to show what they're about. I did notice that he gave the kit man of the match yesterday, so that was an interesting one. But so you
Must
know
have
we
put must have
we
put the
don't
kit on
really know what
nicely.
to we don't really know what to expect too much of on Tuesday night in terms of obviously with a new manager coming in and how they're going to play. But ultimately, we just got to focus on ourselves. And well, it it was going to be well, we thought it was going to be Luton in the next round, but obviously that game between Luton and Biggleswade United was abandoned, so that's got to be replayed by the looks of it. So the winner of that tie is obviously in the next round. So it sets up either a tie against a team from our division or obviously Luton Town development squad. So either way, it would be a nice semi-final tie. So obviously we want to try and progress in these cup games midweek, which is obviously Bedford, and then we've got Potton away on Thursday in the Gladwish, which is the League Cup, and we're going to try and progress. But our main focus is obviously the league and getting as many points as we can between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, with it being quite tight down the bottom there as well. Is it London Colney, wasn't it? And
Colney Heath.
sorry, Colney Heath and Hoddesdon. Obviously, Hoddesdon they had a few points over you, um, and there was a little bit of a gap. You've caught it up. What do you think the success has been in the turnaround in form as well. I mean, we went on a 6 game unbeaten streak as well just before and after Christmas.
We play London Colney on Saturday, and if they beat us, then they pull closer to the pack. So I don't know, a lot of games still to play. You know, we've got 14 games left. Um, but I think our turnaround, I mean, when the turnaround started against Hoddesdon at the beginning of December, and we were 8 points behind them, and we're now above them on goal difference. I think there's a few things that have attributed to that. So obviously we've spoken about it a number of times on the interviews that the data and the players are pushing themselves harder because of the new data that we've got available to us. I think the belief within the group, I think changing some personnel to players that, you know, we only want positive and players that have that belief around the group. I think that's been a massive factor. But I also think that, you know, I've said it all season, we've got a very young squad, and it's taken time to bed in a number of players to get that experience. And now they've got 20 plus senior games under their belts, most of them, and that experience is starting to show on the pitch. And if you look at our performances in the last 8 games, where we've only lost one, and our defensive performances, especially, you know, in the 8 games, I think we've conceded 6 goals, and you know, 6 goals in those 8 games compared to where we were previous to that, where we were shipping really poor goals, just shows how far this squad has come, and the work rate and the effort in terms of our defensive work rate, and making sure we do the right things. And there are still things that we need to improve on. Don't get me wrong. Disappointed with some of those 8 goals that we've conceded, but ultimately, sorry, those 6 goals in 8 games that we conceded. But ultimately, the overall performances have been so much better and coming together as a group.
You can see the team bonding and how well they want to fight for each other as well, and you can definitely see that obviously progressing each game that they play with each other. Obviously, I know there's been a few new additions, and they're starting to see how you guys want to play and how everyone else plays. You can definitely see that, and as I say, they're definitely buying into the ethos that you and Malcolm have both put towards them. Um,
Yeah, I think in terms of, yeah, you spoke about new players coming in. Obviously, we've got some new attacking players in, and it takes time to to gel that, and obviously that makes a difference as well in terms of the number of goals that we're scoring, but also it helps with the competition within the group. So all of that is obviously going to help as well. But another big thing about how the team defends and the effort and work rate they put in for each other, like you said, the camaraderie between the squad. Um, you know, our goal difference could be a factor when it comes down to the end of the season. And obviously, at the moment, we sit in a position we're in on goal difference, and that's obviously something that's key in terms of the the low amount of goals we're conceding at the moment. So, you know, like I said, there's a long way to go this season. There's a lot of hard work still to put in. We're still in that relegation battle, and we still need to get as many points as we can. But the turnaround in the performances and the way the boys are applying themselves has been outstanding, and that's really the answer to your question. That's what's changed.
Well, thank you ever so much, mate. I'm going to leave it there. I know you've got some busy next few days ahead of you, and obviously the next 5 days are going to be mad. So I'll leave you to it tonight. I know
Got
you.
to do quick turnarounds on our analysis because we've got
Yeah,
24
definitely.
hours to do that between games. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy week ahead.
Well, there we go. Fingers crossed on Wednesday night. Maybe if you're free, we can do a an update to the cup. Uh,
Yeah,
Fingers crossed
definitely.
it's a good one for the boys and for yourself. But no, have a good rest,